Hello everyone. Just wanted to apologize for the bad audio quality on my side. The guest's audio is clean and clear, so please enjoy the show. Have fun. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 2 of For the Record. This is your host Sunny David, and today with me I have the very awesome Drevi. Hi Drevi, how are you today?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
How have you been in this lockdown, man? How is it treating you?
Uh, Honestly, it's sort of exhausting, like mentally, but it's not that very hard because like I usually stay at home, but I've been more creative these days.
Right. That's great to hear. Great to hear. So, well, Devi, talking about you, let's go back a long time. What was your introduction to music as a whole? Like, how did you find your passion for it?
My passion, I would say, it came like abruptly. I started making music in like 2012, maybe 13, but like all of it started because I wanted to basically play games, and then my mom said you only get like an hour or so of playtime. So I was like, okay, if I'll only end up like getting an hour of playtime, I might as well like leave playing video games and like look up some other stuff. Uh, and My sister used to actually listen to like 104 FM, and they used to like broadcast like uh, the top 100 charts of like basically America, the whatever popular on Billboard. So after a point, I heard like Daft Punk on the radio at once, and I was like, "What is this music? No one is singing. It's just all instrumental." And I wanted to hear more of it.
Right.
Yeah. So the electronic side of music came from that one single radio session that I had with my sister when I was like 11 or 12.
Damn. I mean, that's interesting to hear. And like, talk about the butterfly effect. Like, you listen to one song from Random Access Memories, and then you get
Yeah.
on to your creation journey of your own music. That's
Yes.
amazing to hear, man. Great. So you've always been into electronic, or like, or do you plan to ever expand your, musical productions and soundscapes or anything as such, or are you going to stick to electronic and try to expand on those sounds itself?
Uh, like with electronic music, I have like already expanded my like production skills. I
Right.
make hip hop, ambient, normal electronic music, IDM stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, like you name it, I've probably done it. But
Right.
I'm just sticking to two or three specific genres right now.
Right, right. And I hear you, like, even looking at your Instagram, you're deep into sound design, right? I
Yes.
mean, just looking at your recent videos, for my listeners, whoever are listening, please go check out Dravi's Instagram. Check out his video, that's called, I suppose, I may not remember correctly, but Grass and Animals. Like, how were you inspired to try that out? Like, it was mind blowing, honestly speaking, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. It was my second attempt to do this actually. I did this like 3 years ago. I was scrolling on Matt Zo's
Right,
SoundCloud actually, and he had done it, and
right.
I was shocked that you can like push Serum that far. He did the jungle Serum sound design, and I did my version of it, but it was like 3 years ago, so it was like sort of okay. But I
Right.
wanted to do it again and like update and like reimagine and like basically uh, do the same thing but in a different environment outside of a jungle. I just wanted to do the same thing in a grass field, and that's
Right.
why I did it again. So Madzo inspired me directly.
Damn. That's excellent. It's really super awesome. I mean, like, honestly speaking, that deep level of expertise, I can only imagine how much of time you might have invested in practicing stuff and getting into the ins and outs of Serum.
Yeah, Serum I've been like using for 4 years or 5 years right now.
Right. Interesting stuff. Uh, do you, I mean, with your, I think your latest release was Mount Process, right?
No, after that I released a single with
Yeah.
Ayush Music. That's it.
Right. So, what are your future plans? What are you planning to do next, man?
Right now I'm working on a sample pack. It's gonna be free, a free sample pack.
Right,
So अभी so अभी वो करना है और उसके बाद it would be probably like more tracks but like singles.
right, All right. Speaking about sample packs, actually, I'm really interested in the in that aspect of your career. So, to be honest, uh, as far as I know, you're pursuing music and doing this full time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, how do you think does the economics of your music production and selling packs, sample packs for other artists support you, especially in India, right? Because as a culture, India, it's still an afterthought when someone speaks about music as their sole career. Did you ever face any kind of uh, backlash from your family or your friends asking you like, why are you doing this? Don't you you know are
Yeah,
worried about
I
the
get.
future? Yeah.
Yes, I actually do understand that. It like I'm personally in a position right now that I don't have to like worry about the economical aspect of it, but I'm actively looking for jobs and like gigs.
Right.
Not gigs as in ki, like I want to play this here so I can get money. I just if I'm getting a gig, I'll probably be interested in the like social aspect of it
Right.
to like
Right.
just connect with people and meet more people.
Right.
So in the economical sense, I'm not actually that into it right now, but I am
Right.
actually actively looking for like ways to make money off of making
Right.
music or sound designing or something like that.
Right.
But
Right.
regarding my family, they've always like more or less been supportive. Like I
Right.
am the one who's pursuing it. They are like, okay, if you're doing it, genuinely do it. Then don't half-ass it.
Right. Makes sense. That's great to hear, man. Supportive family is always great to have. Amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm glad that I have a supportive friends and family circle.
Right. Speaking about you doing gigs and putting out your music, what do you think is your core demographic? Does your core demographic exist in India? Do you think the culture is that present in India, or are you looking to tap into international markets as well?
I would be, and I am actively like interested in tapping into the international market, but obviously that's like pretty hard to like break into because
Yeah.
language barriers and everything gets in the way, and you don't actually know the people who are outside. Your
Right.
music when you release it, it's
Yeah.
like the websites they only promote your music specifically to like the location that you are in right now. So if
Right.
I'm in India, it will like push it only in India, and if I'm outside, it will push it only outside. It's like the internet thing. I don't know how it works
Mm,
though.
makes
But
sense.
my core demographic is probably in like Mumbai and Delhi, I
Right.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think, like, this is a question I ask a lot of people I know who are in the music scene. How do you think India's scene is at this moment of time? Do you think it's supportive towards newer artists and upcoming artists, or do you think it's pretty circle jerky in a way? Because, like, honestly, I personally, I'm currently a musician that plays instruments. So I have a mentor who I talk to, and according to his views, India's current scene culture is quite, well, let's say, toxic in a way. What are your takes on it? How do you look at all of this?
Um, how I would say is, I mean, it is in certain parts of it's like functioning like how do I say this? There's always going to be like a circle jerky pattern going on in the background of the industry.
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I tend not to notice and engage in that, but after a point, it's like you have to succumb to the devil almost, like, hey, I'm here, promote me, push me ahead. So you
Makes
have to
sense.
like just to some level you have to do it, but not you don't have to like overdo it.
Right.
Don't
Makes sense.
overdo it to the point where you're not even enjoying what you're doing. At
Right.
least push the people ahead who you genuinely like listening to, your friends who might be interested in like collaborating. Just be more optimistic about how you wanna be presented and how
Right.
do you want to present other people.
Right. Well, that
Yeah, just
definitely makes sense. That's a very, very positive perspective to have. I'm glad you shared that with me. That's interesting to know, man.
yeah, man. My friends have been like very supportive about this whole thing
Right.
since I've gotten into the industry.
Right.
Everyone has been like more open about things, and they've been sharing information to each other to help like the my principle is basically surrounding that help your immediate friends, and that would be enough.
Right. Makes sense. That's a great way to look at it, man. Great, great. Awesome stuff. Talking about your friends who are supportive to you and getting into the industry, who do you think are the most exciting artists coming up right now in India? Please recommend us some, me and my listeners as well.
That would be IO, made by IO on Instagram.
Yes, yes.
He definitely inspires me in the sense like he has a we both share like same similar aesthetics in the sense of like the artists that we both look up to are very similar, like
Right, right.
IDM genre wise. Uh,
Definitely.
other than other than IO, it would be Malar
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and Ayush, Pratap,
Right.
Noel, Ayush. So I already collaborated with. I'm actually gonna collaborate with all these guys in future. And yeah,
I actually do follow some of these artists, and to my listeners, whoever are plugged in right now, I can highly recommend, man. I mean, especially Io, man. Like he does stuff that's sometimes just another level. Honestly, it's great.
yes,
It's great. It's great.
IDM has always been like my one of my biggest like. IDM is actually my like soul genre
Right,
that I want to focus in, and he also does it other than me. So
right,
I have another person who does the same type of stuff
right. There's
that
this
I can talk in.
interesting thing about IDM. So, do you like? I mean, it is IDM, like intelligent dance music, as it is defined. But do you think some of the, you know, I would say, how do I put this correctly? Like, does IDM have elitists? Because I've seen a lot of elitism in within IDM itself. How do you look at that, and how do you separate yourself from that?
I mean, like I look at IDM not just as like intelligent dance music. I
Right.
personally define it as like industrial dance music. So I
Huh.
can be more experimental with it in the sense like if I basically rusty. It sounds very rusty in my head. Feel like, oh, you have drums, but then you can make them like less organic, less or more organic maybe. It can be like whatever you want it to be in that
Right.
sense. Feel like you can you have basically the whole plate. You and then after you're done with making the track, you can just slap on the title of IDM and then sell it.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Great. Who have been your major inspirations, and who continue to be ever since you have tapped into music making?
That would be John Hopkins first
Oh,
number one spot.
mm-hmm.
John Hopkins all the way. And after that, Flume,
Right.
Deadmau5, Skrillex,
Right.
Porter Robinson. Porter Robinson has been actually a very, very big influence, like
Right.
just as big, almost as big as John Hopkins. But
Right.
yeah,
That's
they would be them. And
right.
Jamie XX from the
Oh,
XX.
this is an artist I'm not aware about. Definitely should check him out. Amazing.
Yeah, he's from Excel Recordings. Oh, also the previous answer the question you asked about the artist.
Right. Right.
Aditya would also be one of them. He makes like super killer. ambient stuff, bro. It's like
Definitely, man.
very meditative, and you can just. I mean, I make almost all genres. These are the
Right,
guys who I say share like similar genres and similar worlds with. With Ayush,
right,
it's like more progressive bedroom pop, more indie in the sense of like, oh, you're listening to Driving Woman by Japanese Breakfast or something. So it's like more Ayushi. And
right.
with Aditya, it's more ambient. With Ayo, it's more IDM. Yeah. With Malal, it's more bounce pop.
Even I'm a great fan of Aditya's work. He like layers sounds quite pristinely. I enjoy his work a lot. It's great for an tight experience at
Yeah,
night
yeah,
when you're just
definitely.
resting and you just want to go into a different
Yes, yes.
soundscape. Definitely. So, Devi, how I wanted to ask you this specifically. How was your experience in performing at Reproduce?
It was actually quite nice. I was like super naive at the time. Just
Right,
because it like happened like 2 years ago now. So I was technically not ready. I even told everyone, and everyone was like super appreciative and super
right,
supportive in the sense, okay, it's your first gig, okay, we're going to be easy, like everything is going to be fine. We'll show you how to do everything almost, and you just come up with your own set, and you'll have your time. There
right,
won't be any rush. So just ease out. Everyone helped me relax basically. I was
right,
very thankful
right.
to the
Definitely.
DAT sister and everyone, Rana.
That's great. You were even part of a 22 producers, 22 samples, and 2 days in thing right now. Just
Yes,
a
yes,
month ago, I guess, right?
yes.
So how was
It
that
happened like
experience
two
like?
months ago.
Right, 2 months ago. How was that experience for you? Like, this is a lot of boundaries, 22 samples, 2 days. How did you go about doing all of that, man?
It was actually very challenging. Like I didn't expect it to be that challenging. I was expecting that we get like 22 samples and then you get your own like a week time maybe. I was
Right.
not aware of the the fact that you have to make the entire track from start to finish with mixing and mastering done in like just 2 days. So that actually made me like push myself to the limit almost. I slept for like 6 hours within the 2 days. I
Damn.
was just making, yeah, I was just making music. I was taking small breaks, like watching some episode of Rick and Morty, maybe after like every 2 hours or something. But
Right.
yeah, the approach was basically like just to get specific ideas done and then just start polishing because polishing and detailing is what takes most of my time up, and I did not want to think too much about it because if I
Right.
did, then I would be like getting critical and time would fly by and I wouldn't be able to make it. So I just
Right.
stuck with a bare minimum. And my
Right.
bare minimum in this case was like three different ideas mashed into each other.
Definitely. I actually enjoyed your track a lot with it. And the entire thing was actually great. Everyone on it did an excellent job, man. Like,
Yeah, man, everyone like was super like quick and intuitive about their projects.
I myself make music, so it was a mind blowing thing for me. Like, how did these people with 22 samples, just 2 days, and everyone has a different vision? It was like there are so many possibilities surrounding just one idea, and
Yeah,
it blew my mind away, man. It's amazing, amazing.
yeah, it was like super fun after you made your own track and then you heard everyone else's track, then you
Yeah,
almost heard like a different version of your own track in a way. It was like
right,
because we all shared the same sample base.
right,
So it was like, oh, I use this sample in my this direction, and then you hear the same sample being used in some other direction that you didn't even think of. So to
exactly.
hear that, yeah, so to hear that like 22 more times in different variations, it was like super interesting. And
So, as an experienced, I would certainly call you quite experienced with production. Like, you're this deep into it and doing it for so long. Personally, for me, I'm just getting into it. And whoever, if there's any producer in my listening base, what would your suggestions be to improve upon themselves and grow as a musician or as a producer, man?
um, that would be just stick with the what are your strengths right now, make
Right.
them sharp,
Hmm.
and then move a step back, and then like focus on something else for a while and then come back to your strength to just give a reminder okay, like yeah, I still know how to do this, let me go. Like in my head, it's almost like I do idea writing sessions, and then I do mixing sessions, mastering sessions all together, and then I do maybe detailing sessions, sound designing sessions. So I have like different approaches, and then I just one by one go to each and every one of them. And for let's say if I'm making a track, right?
Right.
So if I start a track today, I will
Hmm.
just focus on getting the bare minimum to like get my palette ready to start painting. So I have to like come up with a theme, maybe a different variation of the same theme. So I have like two, three different palettes, and then I then start painting like later on for like the month or the next 2 or 3 months. So I just get the bare minimum ready. So I've practiced doing the bare minimum a lot. So I used to write like samples every single day.
Right.
Not samples, ideas. Sorry, ideas every single day, and then I used to just listen back to the same ideas and be like, okay, this idea can actually work. So out of five, maybe I'll work on one.
Right. Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. So to anyone who was listening and who wants to like get better, I would suggest just focus on your strengths, whatever it might be, and then start focusing on your weakness.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it's a balance thing, I guess.
How important do you think is finishing tracks? I mean, uh, there is a lot of forums and people that suggest that complete as many as tracks as possible. Then there's another group of people that suggests work on different ideas altogether. Complete the stuff you feel like you want to complete. So, which idea do you subscribe to?
I would subscribe to the second idea actually.
Right.
I don't want to finish all the tracks that I start because honestly, like not every single idea that I write is like the best idea ever that I would want to put out or even like finish for my personal self.
Right. Makes
Um,
sense.
so with the tracks, I wouldn't like force myself to finish them. I would just be like, this if this feels all right, if I actually genuinely want to finish this, if I might want to listen back to the same track that I made, maybe then might finish it. But other than that, I would like prefer it to just stay as a project file than an audio file.
Makes sense. Definitely. All right, man. It's been great talking to you. Thank you for coming on onto this show, and I hope to see you again and again as you release more and more music and get bigger and bigger. I'd like to wish you all the best for your journey, and thanks again for coming on, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I would love to like come again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Dravi. I had an amazing time talking to him. Please let us know how do you like this episode. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify. Take care of each other. Be good to each other. Bye bye.